is 7:30, and I say, do we need to wait for the other tech to come back, or are we good? You don't know? I mean, they're literally on the other side of the wall. They can hear me. I'm loud. So hi there. Hopefully you guys are here for the redemption panel. If not, we'll have to get you into the comic book to figure out which room you're actually supposed to be in. I'm like, I have people? Yay!
It's the Taylor effect.
Why do you think I recruited you in the first place?
Exactly.
It's like, you knew what you were getting into. So,
yep.
By brief run of events here, a little bit of our overview of the next hour or so. We're going to introduce ourselves. We're going to go over what we're going to be looking at with our various redemption stories. And then we have the 6 characters you see on screen in that lovely order. Discord, Starlight, Prince Zuko, last minute entry from the description, we are adding in Catra, as well as Amity Blight and Cecil from Final Fantasy IV because of, we'll get into that in a second. So, by way of introductions, hi, I'm Eli. This is technically my panel that I got these wonderful 2 folks to join me on. I can't even remember how I came up with the idea other than, there's a lot of stuff about redemption arcs. I can talk about that. I know enough stories and stuff that we can come up with some fun things to talk about. And I was like, hey, Red Card, do you want to join me for a panel that we can talk about cartoon stuff on?
Oh, boy.
That's literally basically how it went, right?
Yes.
It's cartoon night, but in depth.
So, for those who don't know...
We're analyzing.
Yes, I'm actually making you guys do analysis and not just be funny. How dare I? I gave them homework.
Wait, there was homework
Okay,
involved in this?
Professor.
Don't worry, I gave
Professor
them a
Eli.
rubric. I gave them a rubric too, and they started groaning that they hadn't seen it for a while. They hadn't seen a rubric at all for a while.
I haven't seen that since my community college days.
Just FYI, it's been, let me see, it's been
84 years.
It's been 5 years since I graduated from college, and it's something I'm no longer used to. And then Eli showed it to me, and I was like, really?
I feel old.
I feel like I'm back in my college. I didn't think I had to do this anymore.
But also, the 3 of us actually help do events for a Brony community Discord server called BlebCon. Red Card actually runs our cartoon night for that. So it's like, hey, he knows cartoon stuff. He'd be a great person. And we're talking about pony characters with substantial redemption arcs. Gee, I wonder who I could get to talk about a My Little Pony character who gets redeemed.
That's an interesting... I wonder, who was that person you got anyway?
Yeah, I wonder.
Oh, that's me.
So yeah, that's kind of... And so we were just like, hey, let's look at some stuff. Specifically, we're going to look at these stuffs. I said these stuffs. There we go.
Stuffs.
There it goes. So we're going to be looking primarily at these 4 criteria across all the 6 of our characters. How long were they sort of evil for? How long did it take for them to go from being evil to becoming good, quote unquote? What happened is either leading to their redemption as a consequence of their getting redeemed, somewhere in that general range. And, well, how good did they turn up? Because you've got, just because you went from being the absolute worst to being, you could be semi-good, you could be barely good, you could be the greatest person of all. So we want to look and see how that differs from character to character. So, as mentioned, our first character of the night, you might want to howl at the moon for this one. This is Discord.
I'm howling at the moon.
Wait, we didn't introduce ourselves just yet.
Yeah, we didn't really introduce you guys. Didn't introduce yourselves. I just went quick. I introduced you guys briefly.
Well, I thought you introduced for us, though.
Well, yeah. I got some reading through points.
All right,
So, hi everybody. I'm Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
Hi. I'm the professional Starlight Glimmer fanatic in the fandom, and as Eli said, I also run a webcam hangout event in the BlebCon Discord server on Tuesday nights when I'm available. And I also host a variety of entertaining panels throughout any con weekend. Like if you were just at Tell Your Tale, for instance, that's considered one of my favorite panels so far of the weekend. Thank you all to those who came out. And yeah, I'm excited to discuss and analyze cartoons and not actually watch them on a screen this time. Actually giving you my actual thoughts on it. Scary, huh?
And I got you out of the meet and greet panel, didn't I?
Yes. I
you
guess.
say you didn't want to do that?
No, I did want to do that, but it was just like,
scheduling, because it's never easy to schedule everything.
No, and I would have been in the corner crying because everybody's just talking to like AC Race Best and Saber, and there I am in the corner just like, okay, cool, I'll just
You're in the corner talking with everyone else from our Discord that like, hey, it's Taylor, I want to see Taylor again.
See, the Glimmer guy, the Glimmer dude, and
Webcam hangout dude.
that dude. I have 100 nicknames at this point.
The Bailey's guy.
I have
Thoth 4.0.
I need to bring my Bailey's back out for a web campaign. I'm not kidding you. So
Oh wow, we'll make the people a little bit more liberal.
so I need that darn Canterlot button to start working even more now. Because apparently.
We'll get to that story, not at this panel.
Yeah.
So wait, who are you again?
Hi, everyone. Every pony. I am Red Card.
Hi, Red Card.
As Eli pointed out, I run a Cartoon Night streaming event every Wednesday night in the BlepCon server. You should come to it if you're not part of the server already. Join the server. Yeah, I do like a lot of I do like voiceovers for it. I do I make bumpers for it like ABC and.
If you're watching Saturday morning cartoons on TV, it is very professionally done.
Except it's in prime time.
Yeah, except you're watching it at, 4 p.m. local time here?
7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Depending on if it's not the week of a con or not. If it's a week of a con and it early travels the next day, we usually adjust the time by an hour. But yeah.
We'll recruit you for that at the end of the panel. So yeah, as a recap, we are going to be looking at a few different, these 4 criteria, so you'll see it kind of pop up as we go over each character's slides. So yeah, now we can start with Discord again, and I can, since I am done jumping the gun.
Discord, I'm howling at the moon.
Were you guys at the concert last night? Because she did actually do a little bit from that.
We were too tired.
We were just so exhausted
we were
after
busy
last
and
night.
tired.
Anyone see that? Anyone see Odyssey's concert last night? Wasn't it great? See. All right, so Discord. You're taking Discord, aren't you?
So I guess this is mine. Yes. So Discord. Obviously he displayed very evil behaviors for the duration of 3 episodes across 2 seasons. 2 of those episodes were, of course, the return of Harmony, the season 2 two-parter premiere, and the third one was the season 3 the episode called "Keep Calm and Flutter On." And in that same episode was his redemption in "Keep Calm and Flutter On." The effects of said redemption is Fluttershy was pretty much the only one who was willing to display kindness to Discord in an attempt to turn him good or something of the sort, and because of that, we of course we all talk about it. He developed a quote unquote affinity for Fluttershy in particular, and the goodness that came out of this redemption is he of course became friends with the main 6, but at the same time he was still a bit of a trickster. So he would it wasn't like sort of like, I guess, chaotic, between chaotic good and chaotic neutral, and would still play the trickster part, and of course it would kind of be annoying to the main 6, and of course he would have his screw ups of course as well. Of course in the season 4 finale, of course the season 4 premiere and finale actually, and of course the series premiere, or season 9 finale, I should actually say, and premiere. He was involved in it just occurred to me he was involved in a lot of bookending stuff in seasons. So.
Yeah, season 6 finale as well, right?
Season six finale. Well, he was more, I guess, leaning towards chaotic good in that because he wanted to rescue
Well,
Fluttershy.
yeah, of course. But still, it's like, it's interesting to see both sides of that, because it's like, yes, he's not always just a force of chaos. He can just be a force of good.
Yes, like using his powers of chaos to do to do good for Equestria. So not.
Except his powers were kind of sad because changelings.
Yeah, well, there's that too. Yeah, I mean, basically, he had to use the power of basically intuition. All of them did in the season 6 finale. So.
Anything else you wanted to add on that, Taylor?
No, I just Discord is like that one villain that seems like he's reformed, but he's not really, because
not totally, at least.
Not totally, but it's not like it's out of malicious or anything. It's more like that's just who Discord is. He's not going to fully, reform, because that if you completely reform Discord, you don't want him to turn into like that Mr. Rogers kind of type person.
And he almost like dressed almost like Mr. Rogers in one episode, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Wasn't that the we'll do questions at the end. We're definitely gonna leave room for questions. Discord and Harmony, the one where he's inviting Fluttershy to his house, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That
where
one.
he's trying to be normal, and it literally makes him kind of disappear from reality.
Yeah.
The other funny one is the one where because it's like the one where he is still like reformed but kind of just acting out of malice, is the one where he's acting sick, or he makes Cadence and Twilight go on that field trip to get the thing to heal him.
When in turn he was not sick.
It was all for naught. It was all for naught.
Just to prove how good of a friend Twilight is to him.
Yeah, which is kind of screwed up if you ask me.
Oh, it's very screwed up. Yeah, it's the one time he's like not actually good. We'll do questions. We're gonna say questions for the very end and stuff, just so we can make sure we have time to get through our main characters, and then we'll just to keep timing moving. But yeah, hold your questions. We will leave room. All right, I think we're on to our next character. The Glimmer.
Yep. It's my time, baby. So, Starlight Glimmer, from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, obviously. Started out as a villain in season 5 in a two-parter of what was the Cutie Map, and where she is pretty much hoarding a village of ponies with basically equal symbols.
Welcome.
Welcome. I love the way she comes in like that.
That creeped me out, though.
In our town.
But then she wasn't really seen pretty much after the Cutie Map ended. She ran off after the main 6 could do anything with her. And then we get her again for the Cutie Remark episode, which is the season finale for season 5. And where Twilight pretty much tries to convince her to go from being evil to redeeming herself to actually being good to find friendship. And in that one is it really necessarily like a two-parter, like just one episode, or am I?
Maybe.
It's one, like in terms of story, it is like one episode.
One plot, pretty much.
Yeah, it's one story. Just time-wise, they had to cut it for 2 because they wanted more than 22 minutes would allow.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so and it only took that one episode to officially turn her around, and then now here she is in season 6, and where she's trying to understand friendship better, but is having all those difficulties, like trying to keep her friends together without using the force of magic, which you obviously could see in that one episode where she is hypnotizing the main five, except Twilight wasn't there, and basically Pinkie Pie's doing all the cooking, and Applejack is doing all the scrapbooking, and does one of the most famous lines from a movie. I completely forgot what it was, but then Twilight has to tell her, look, you don't need to use magic to keep your friends. You need your friends to have your friendships. And then later on, she develops a friendship with Trixie, and the rest is pretty much history of what happened to them. And then later on, she gets to be the guidance counselor at Twilight's School of Friendship, And I thought that was a really interesting choice for her to be the guidance counselor because, you know, she made a lot of perfect sense because, you know, this is a pony that had gone through a lot and could actually help a lot of ponies, like, you know, understand what friendship really is and, you know, try not to go into that evil kind of phase she went into. And then she has that talk with Cozy Glow at one point and is almost like fascinated by it, but it's more like, I see.
The iconic meme.
Yes. So then, like I said, in her goodness effect, she became the guidance counselor for the School of Friendship and was made head mayor of the school in the series finale, like in the closing credits, which I still cannot listen to this day because I will bawl like a frickin' baby.
Me too.
You act like that's not like most of the fandom.
Well, I mean, you know, it's hard to listen to that song, and everybody knows that. And you know,
I'm sorry. Can I just say that usually when I'm in my car, I have my phone like my library on shuffle. Whenever that song comes on, I can't do this right now. No.
say skip.
Yep.
Like that one scene from like Cinema Sins. Thank you. He goes like skip, and that's like pretty much where, you know.
Yep.
But what's interesting about Starlight's, you know, reformed arc is like it was well done. Like, you know, if they wanted to do a villain they wanted the villain to reform, she was the character to do it, because there were some people maybe saying, oh well, maybe Queen Chrysalis should have been reformed, and I said no. Not every villain is going to be reformed, and that's the way it should be. But yeah, that's my girl.
Yeah, Glimmer's entertaining. It's also fun just seeing the little songs that she gets with just how specifically her friendship with Trixie grows, because it's like they kind of early on just it feels like she kind of forced it to just like, oh, you gotta be friends with, you're a Twilight student, okay, you gotta be friends with all her friends, but then she just goes off and does her own thing with Trixie, and you get that entertaining dynamic that involves, well, all the fun things.
Yep.
And then eventually seeing how it works with Sunburst and even Maud, right, from what is it, Uncommon Bonds, the one where she's, am I thinking right about that one?
Yeah, that's Uncommon Bonds.
Yeah. Wow, I'm glad I can remember so much of that show from however many years ago it's been.
But my favorite moment for Starlight in particular was when she was talking to Twilight about, you know, not having to go buy the book, and she smacks the book into the
Yes,
river.
I love that.
That was the moment that made me go, yes!
I don't like it because I like books.
I'm pretty sure Twilight didn't like that because she also likes
Well,
books.
that's the thing. Twilight, yes. Book Horse McSparklebutt is. Book Horse McSparklebutt is like law, order, rules, regulations.
Yes.
Hi, I DM for game. I DM for tabletop RPGs. I need my rule books. I literally I have literally 2 RPG rule books on me.
Slap.
He doesn't leave the house without them.
I mean, you're not wrong. I also have them on my phone. Literally what I was reading on my flight here was Pathfinder books, but we'll get to that another time. Oh. So, now that we're done with the pony arc, let's go into some other fun TV characters, or some other fun characters that have had some redemptions, and I'll go into what I think is probably one of the best redemption arcs done in animation, Prince Zuko. So we all know Rhoda love Prince Zuko because everyone knows roses are red, cloudy skies are muddy, my girlfriend turned into the moon. That's rough, buddy.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh.
Let me know, for those who are not as familiar with the show, his evilness is basically one season, beginning of season 1 till roughly the end. Like you'll see bits and pieces where he's kind of still evil-ish in season 2, but like it's a lot more. I find it to be a lot more thing to look at it just through season 1, because by season 2 he's going less from I must capture the Avatar to restore my honor to just actually out for survival in season 2, and then starting to look, and that's when his redemption kind of starts. Because it's like, oh yeah, I guess we do need to talk about that season 1 moment when he's actually kind of, you know, a good person in the blue spirit, but that's less being just good for the sake of being good and more I'm doing this so that I can capture the Avatar, because if Zhao turns in the Avatar, I'm sunk. I have no plan. And you start to see that goodness come through in early to mid part of the season, like right after Toph joins with the chase, wherein, because that's when you get Azula popping on the scene chasing Aang, and then Zuko follows her, and then they all wind up in that one deserted town, and then you get the giant, everyone going after her, and it's such a great picture, that scene of literally all 4 bending disciplines aimed at Azula, plus Sokka with his boomerang. But it isn't really until you start to see it there, and you start to see, okay, he's got some hints that, okay, he might be becoming good and not just out for survival, with Lake Lao Guy and the Earth King, wherein he frees Appa, and now, oh crap, he's now being good is incompatible with him, and he literally gets sick from it. But the real reformation really kicks in at the Day of Black Sun, which we remember is when he's like, okay, look, you're evil, Father, you're evil, bye, I'm helping the Avatar take you down. And at that point, and honestly up even through that point, he's a traitor to his kingdom. He's literally turned on the Fire Nation from the second he helps, he's getting out of the North Pole and he's getting hunted down. I kind of talked about that already with Azula. But then that one little bit at the end of Crossroads of Destiny where he turns his back on Iroh and on Aang and works with Azula, even though he's no one ever said redemption had to be linear. Sometimes you can take steps back and then you take more steps forward. As long as those steps forward end up being bigger than your steps backwards, you come out ahead. And but even then, that's that one moment that they redeem him, and then that he was redeemed in the eyes of his father, but then he's still kind of evil. So he's kind of evil, but you can see he's working on being good still. Because it's I feel bad about this. This kind of sucks. I shouldn't have turned on my uncle like that. And there's goodness. So once he's formally good, once we hit Day of Black Sun, that sequence then goes Western Air Temple when he actually joins the team, Firebending Masters when he goes on his field trip with Aang, into the Boiling Rock when he goes on the Sokka field trip, into the Katara field trip, into Ember Island Players, which is the summary, and then Sozin's Comet. He literally just goes non-stop pure goodness at that point. It's okay, yeah, he is formally good. He is helping these people solve their problems. He is getting them what help they need, and wham bam, we're at the show finale. I mean, yeah, they did a lot in 3 seasons with him, from main antagonist to helping the team do what they need to actually win and succeed, and taking down his crazy sister. Anything you guys wanted to add?
Unfortunately, I know I'm going to get crucified when I say this, but I am not caught up on Avatar, so I'm not in a position to really make any other comments. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've not really gotten myself in the Avatar at all, but that sounded like that puts my girl to shame right there.
Oof.
Zuko was one of those you could look to. It's okay, there's so much to his redemption. You got the I will watch some of those episodes if you get a chance, because you will get to see a lot of the Zuko arc that makes him kind of interesting in terms of his redemption.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. So this one was one we kind of edited, but it's Redcard wanted to talk about her, and it makes sense from what I understand about her, because just as Redcard is with Avatar, I have not seen this next show that this character is from.
So this is Catra from the most recent She-Ra series that was on Netflix.
He worships her.
Yes, I wouldn't say that.
It's not honk.
It's that.
Okay.
No, Redcard is also a fan of a certain show called Love Live School Idol Project. Right?
Right.
And who is best girl?
Honoka.
That's the correct answer.
Well, that's the correct answer according to Redcard. There's others who will insist that it's actually, why am I blanking on her name now? Senior purple hair. Not Ellie.
Nozomi. Yeah.
Bunch of Twilight.
But
No.
I don't know about that. That's a bit of a stretch. That's a bit of a stretch. I would say that Ellie is more the Twilight character.
I think you get close between those.
Yeah.
But that's
Cross-
a panel for
Fair
another
enough,
time.
fair enough,
That's
fair
a panel for another time.
Yeah, we need to talk about Catra. So Catra, it basically grew up in what is known on this program as the Evil Horde. And this is a 5-season show, and for four of those 5 seasons, she exhibits evil behaviors, basically as basically running the operations of the Horde. After Adora basically abandons the Horde to join the Princess Alliance at Bright Moon. So with that, Adora was promoted to the position of Force Captain. After she abandons, Catra is promoted to that position. After originally being I guess snubbed that. Four out of the 5 seasons of the show, she displays evil behaviors, and in the last season, when everything seems like everything's about to fall apart with her homeworld, which is Etheria. It's actually Glimmer, no relation by the way, who when threatened by Horde Prime, it's actually Glimmer who asks Catra, don't you want to do that one good thing in your life? And so it's only when she knows that she is threatened by Horde Prime, when her own life is threatened, she basically says, I want to do this one good thing, and also Catra and Adora, when both of them were in the Horde, they were childhood friends basically. They've been close friends since they were kids. And I think basically it's Catra's thinking, I do not want to lose my who is basically my best friend and I guess childhood crush, pretty much. With that, Catra turns, and the fallout from this is that she's considered a traitor by Horde Prime, pretty much. And she ends up being basically chipped and brainwashed by Horde Prime, and she actually has to be rescued by Adora, or also known as She-Ra. And so what comes from this is that she becomes the, I'm going to butcher this word, tetartagonist, or basically the 4th protagonist of the show in season 5 of the show, and also helped Adora defeat Horde Prime in the end. So all's well that ends well for Catra in the very end.
Like I said, I don't know. I've not watched it. Taylor, I don't know if you had something you wanted to add.
I haven't really been caught up on the show either, so I can't really give a comment on it. But as long as he's liking it, then that's all that matters.
Well, clearly I do, because I know a lot about it.
And that's why you wanted to add her, and it made sense. It's like, we had these 5. It's like, okay, let's talk about, Pony and the Owl House crew, who's gonna, because Owl House is here this weekend.
It was either between Catra and Chibiusa from Sailor Moon. And to say, dang it, I want to go with Catra.
Yeah.
But in your heart, you wanted to go with Sailor Moon.
Well,
I mean, if he did, we would have had Sailor Moon on this one.
I mean, if we had time, maybe, but we.
We'll do it next time.
Yeah, that's it. We can always, swap it out, and you still have it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, speaking of, since we know we have some wonderful guests from the Owl House here this weekend, and we're talking about redemption arcs, it felt great to include Amity.
Yes. Oh, that's right. All right. Yep, that's mine.
Yep.
So, Amity Blythe, as you know, was from the Owl House, and pretty much at the very beginning of season 1, she started off as kind of like the schoolyard bully
The mean girl.
The mean girl at the school. So again, I apologize if I kind of get some of this wrong here. I was trying to speed through the Owl House as quickly as I can before this con happened. So if I missed something here, I apologize. But yeah, so Amity was like the schoolyard bully, the mean girl of the school, and it mostly resulted in later episodes that it mostly resolved that she comes from a very, very wealthy family on the Boiling Isles, and which can contribute to that kind of behavior for a child is that the way a parent treats them, and the way her brother and sister treated her during the course of the first season. And then of course, like later on, she kind of starts coming around a little bit because, you know, she grows that fondness for Luz.
No, you got it. Luz.
Cool.
Theta.
Luz and Seda. And then it's later revealed that all this time she's developing kind of a crush on. She's developed a crush on her, and the episode Glom Night wasn't enough to convince people that she had a affection for Luz. Yeah, that's when the whole Lumity thing started up.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
And
Yeah.
It's not like they, show the note that says, "Hey, Luz, you want to go to Guam with me?" I'm probably pronouncing it, blanking myself right now.
Grom.
Guam. Quite as close.
Yeah, and throughout the course of the next few episodes, she then dyes her hair purple, or is it lavender, or is it?
I would say more of a lightish lavender.
Lightish lavender.
Between light lavender and pink.
Lilac.
What?
Lilac.
Lilac.
Okay, fair enough. And so, as
I actually didn't know what that was. Thank you.
so you learned something new here today.
You learned a new word when coming up with the panel.
No, I heard the word before. Anyway, keep going.
But then, it made a lot of sense why Amity acted the way she did. Is like I said, it's like she developed that kind of behavior that her parents just wanted her to, stay with the rich and elite and not interact with like the commoners of the community, and which to me, it just sounds so cruel to me because it sounded like she wanted to be more friends with everybody at the school and on the Boiling Isles, but she couldn't because her parents were like, no, we're all rich and we're more powerful than the commoners down there. So like in the one episode where she's trying to repair the relationship with Willow and all the memories she accidentally burned, except that one she was trying to burn, and explaining that it was her parents to break off the friendship with Willow, which was pretty stupid because a parent shouldn't be able to tell their child who her friends should be, and not like if they're wealthy or they're incredibly poor.
Yeah.
But and then we get into the later parts of the season, and we get the infamous kiss scene, which freaked out Disney.
Thanks, Disney.
Which freaked out Disney to a point like, no, we can't have gay characters kissing and whatnot. That's not our thing. So, and then throughout the rest of the, I think she was fully redeemed. I want to say maybe around when they were that sort of buckball thing. Grudgeby,
yeah.
Thank you. Because that's when she was starting to come around quite a bit for Luz and her friends. So, she got better and she developed that relationship and repaired most of the friendship she had towards the end of the Owl House's run, and helped out defeat Emperor Bellows. Unless I'm forgetting something here.
She played a role in that, yeah.
She played a role, but yeah, that's Amity Blythe. If you two wanted to add something here.
When you're talking about her parentage, I never thought of it this way. It just occurred to me. I could draw some similarities between this character and Diamond Tiara, actually, because
Yeah, you could.
the reason why Diamond Tiara was behaved the way she did in early seasons, pre the Crusaders of the Lost Mark, is because you know her parents are filthy rich and spoiled rich, basically had all these expectations of her and didn't want her hanging around with these other, like, lesser, for lack of a better phrase, lesser rich foals. So I mean, there's a lot of similarities between Diamond Tiara and Amity,
I feel
really.
like that, the trope of, you can't hang out with them because they're of another class, another social station than you is kind of common, although we don't always get to, like...
I mean that trope is also really stupid as well. There's no written rule anywhere that says you need to. I mean you can't interact with someone who is in a different. Not at least not today.
No, it's like I'm not trying to. Don't take this as me trying to defend it.
No. I wasn't trying to do. No, I wasn't trying to do that.
But it comes from this place where, okay, you're rich. You can buy just about anything you want.
Right.
What are some things you can't buy? One of those things is your reputation.
And happiness.
Well, you can buy enough things that will. You can buy things that will keep you from being sad.
Oh, that's a fair point.
So there's a lot of things that you can buy that you cannot literally pay for a reputation. So what do people have? So they have to do something to distinguish themselves from other rich people. So the reputation you have as someone who's rich or of a high station is what matters. So being affiliated with someone who doesn't have that reputation looks kind of scandalous. It's like, oh my, why are they hanging out with someone who's so different? Why are they hanging out with someone who's common? But
the problem with that is, there's one reputation, but another reputation that you develop. Again, I'm not contradicting you. I'm just saying that another problem with that is that another reputation you develop is that you develop a reputation for being a bully. Pretty much, you don't treat. You don't treat. For lack of a word, common folk.
Commoners.
Oh yeah. The kind of respect that you receive. Why can't you show that same respect to them, despite the fact that you're a different social standing? So.
There's a lot that goes into that, and that's a panel for another time. So
Yeah.
You see how many panels we're getting out of this panel?
Yes.
Yes.
See, this is why we'll never run out of panel ideas, Red.
Yeah, despite what Joe says, yeah.
And don't worry, Ocean will also be happy with this because it means you have more panels to submit for Harmony.
Oh boy.
Step 2 Harmony's already threatening me to put a Jackbox for Harmony.
Threatening you?
Friendly threatening.
I don't know if there's a friendly kind of threatening.
I can always poke Ocean or poke others since they're here and be like, hey.
See, yeah, Tara submitted this amount of panels for Harmony. Going, okay, well, I'll accept them.
I think we still have one more character to do.
We do have one more character. I'm watching time. I know where we're at.
We got.
I just don't want us to get too carried away.
No,
We're good. Just chill, boss.
I gotcha.
He's the boss. He's running this.
Yeah, and I've gotcha. That's my character. So, for those who don't know me too well, which I don't know most of you, unfortunately, I am a huge gamer. I mean, the event that I run for that Discord that we all do is Game Night, which is more about party games. But like my personal gaming library is packed to the brim with Final Fantasy games, and I mean to the brim. I have everything in the main line between one of the consoles in my room, with the exception. Actually, I do have some of 11 on my computer. I have played Final Fantasy extensively, and so it's like, and when all the characters we looked at so far prior to Cecil are animation, so it's like somewhat aimed at different demographics. But I figured, well, what else could we look at from another medium rather, that also does a redemption arc? Oh, I know, let's look at Cecil. So Cecil Harvey is the wonderful person you see on screen, who actually kind of starts his game evil. He like the first thing you see prior to actually having control over the character is him coming back from raiding a city to steal a crystal that had been housed there, and he's sort of questioning what's like, is this something good? You actually start to see him actually going into the, why am I doing this? This isn't good, right off the bat. But his redemption takes a minute because every part. So I'm gonna, since it's obviously not clean, discrete episodes, it's sort of like we're gonna look at the various things he's doing as part of his redemption. So. Like, his evilness is basically, he's evil, quote unquote, up until he is relieved of his command of the Red Wings, which is the evil labor force, for the sake of simplicity. And he gets, okay, your final assignment though, take this thing to this other city nearby. And he ends up basically committing an act of terrorism and bombing the entire city. Yeah, fun story. So then after that you get his, his redemption is literally, okay, let's take this girl who was injured to a nearby town and then keep her safe when the evil Air Force lands and wants to kill her. Then you get, okay, now I need to go rescue my childhood friend / basically future girlfriend. So, hey, look, there's more future girlfriend stuff going on here, except this time it's a straight relationship. And no, we did not intend to put this, like, hey, look, we also had 2 LGBTQ relationships that are redemption arcs. Good, the gays aren't just shown as evil, because that was a thing in storytelling back when.
Oh boy.
We can get into that in another
That is
panel.
another panel.
Guys, 4 panels we just created within the span of
40 minutes.
40 minutes.
So we have the trek to Kaipo, we have the path through the underground waterway into the Antlion Den to help get the stuff to heal Rosa. And then by this point, okay, Evil Air Force has taken another crystal, so now every one of these acts that he's taking is sort of making amends for some part of something he did that was wrong, or something that he did that he's kind of is at fault for. The most notable of which is his trek to Mount Ordeals, because after the defense of Kabul, after the trek to Mount Hobbs, he winds up in the case of having to visit the town, or landing on the shores of the town that he had just literally raided. He had stolen the crystal from. And it's like, okay, no, we're not talking to you, but you can go to this place, and when we come back down from that place, we'll be good. And that ends up literally being his redemption, his conversion from quite literally a dark knight, a person whose life energy can be used to empower his blows, to being what you see on screen there, a paladin, a force for good, a holy knight. And that is his change. Like, it's literally, I mean, even prior to his redemption, his home country's forces don't like him, and they're literally killing or trying to hunt him down and harm him. But like the big effect is he literally loses that tap into the dark power, into powers of darkness, and gains powers of light that help him through the rest of his quest. And in terms of his goodness, he's literally the protagonist of the game. Like, literally, he is the protagonist of the entire game. He is the focal event. He is fighting every single evil thing that comes out of the evil empire, and then some. And then you end up going to the moon and meeting rabbit people, which are adorable. But that's just me plugging Final Fantasy games, which you should play. I'm sure you guys haven't really played Final Fantasy, so
I'm not much of a gamer, honestly.
Wasn't
I don't
that
play
much in the
video games.
Wasn't much.
Yes!
6 is my favorite.
Have you met Tara Kleisch yet?
Huh?
So, the cosplay lead for this convention got her name from Tara from Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, that is her favorite as well, and I'm friends with her, but you'll see her running around. She's in an On the Blaze cosplay this evening. Yes, we love Tara. You should check out her cosplay, her Twitter for her cosplay. She is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, she does amazing. She did like a couple times I saw her do like a blanking on the character's name.
Paramount?
No.
I know.
I know the character's name.
Describe character.
It's from the MLP. The
Tempest?
The Tempest. Thank you. I have a bit of a brain fart. Sorry. She does like some amazing Tempest Shadow cosplays, and it's like I first saw like at Everfree in 2019. I like, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else with a redemption arc. Tempest.
Yep.
Yeah. We could have done Tempest.
There's a lot of characters we could have done, and that's the beauty of this. We can just
We can do another one of these.
Yes, we can do another one. We can talk a little longer, but they're not going to give me longer. But we do have a few more minutes. where we can look at some any conclusions we have. So it's like, and we're already kind of doing that, looking at how some of these arcs have some similarities to them. Like we have both Catra and Amity's redemptions being based on, and actually most of these redemptions are being based on establishing friendships with someone else who is a very good character.
Yeah.
Anything else we see that we have in common that we want to look at? Because it's like with Cecil's, it's literally just, he's atoning for what he's done, which is, I mean, another great motivation for redemption arcs. It's like, part of this is like, hey, why come? It's like, well, what can we, either if we're writing, I don't know how many of you guys like writing stories, or how many of you guys are do gaming stuff where you're playing your own characters, but characters have redemptions, and so I'm like, this is something to consider for your own work, or, you know, just talk about characters we like. And also, you know, just enjoying the show and stuff. But yeah, like, anything else we have that's in common before we start taking some questions?
I think one thing that I want to point out is that, like, you know, the similarities between the characters I talked about was Discord and Catra. I think their redemptions were pretty much based on the fact that they don't want to lose somebody. For Discord, it was Fluttershy. For Catra, it was Adora. So, like, the redemptions were based on I guess, for lack of a word, the love of somebody. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have.
Yeah, and going back to Starlight for a minute, well, yeah, shocker, I know. But I still liked how her redemption arc came to form, because, you know, her redemption arc came from, you know, losing out on an old time friend, which was Sunburst, when they were fillies, and watching him go off and do bigger, better things and just completely leave her behind kind of leaves those feelings of did I do something wrong, and that I never wanted to lose that friendship, but how am I ever going to get that back? Because he's going to go do bigger, better things than me here, so would he still want to be my friend again when I maybe see him in a few years? I don't know, but, you know, that kind of thing that's happened to me before, is that I had a childhood friend that we grew up together, and he moved away, and I never heard from him again. And yeah, that's still why you can relate to some of these characters a lot, is based on what they have gone through in the show, any show you go through, and, you know, Pony especially, you know, because that's why I like Starlight so much, is because I resonate with her, because I know what she's gone through, and that's what I've gone through. So, yeah.
And I can talk about this a little bit before, and I'll go over it a little bit more again, because I was like, I wanted to look up some stuff on it. The nice thing about seeing both Catra and Amity being redeemed is that they both present as LGBTQ plus characters, which have historically had a very negative portrayal in the media. I mean, you can see this even as far back as Little Mermaid with Ursula, who, while not necessarily a queer character herself, is very much modeled after a drag queen.
Yeah.
For those who are not aware, yeah, she is inspired by a drag queen, and historically, gays have not had a good representation, and there's a very unfortunate trope of barrier gays, wherein LGBTQ plus characters would wind up dead within their series or within a little bit of their introduction. What was it, Voltron something or other ended up with a gay relationship, and they ended up killing them not that long after.
I get to watch Voltron.
Yeah, it's like, I just remember seeing it in passing, and she's like, oh, look, they did it. But then we see, you know, not only do we, like, these characters start as evil, but it's not like they're cast as evil because they're gay. It's they want, like, it's revealed partway through, but they end up becoming forces of good. And then we also see other positive portrayals of, even if it's not, like, even if it's not outright, like, somewhat coded characters, like the crystal gems in Steven Universe are all kind of coded non-binaries, non-binary or queer in some regard. And another couple we could go over would be Peridot and Lapis, both of which are definitely evil characters, but aren't necessarily evil to the same degree as these ones. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I have not.
Watch it, it's good. Watch it. It's also got some really good music.
So I've heard, actually.
Yeah.
Another story there.
Yeah,
More ideas.
Oh yeah, like Lapis is actually probably the more interesting one to do because it's not just looking at the story of someone who's evil, but someone who's in an abusive relationship, and not just as like they're the receiver, they're the abuser.
Yeah.
They literally trap another gem in their fused form and bury them underwater for a very long time.
And it's actually interesting that you mentioned abuse because it's not necessarily clear to me, but in terms of I guess Katra, when she was young, it almost seemed like that she was subject to some kind of abuse, I guess, and and obviously that has a very negative effect on somebody, and but in the end it all came down to the capture being like I'm like if I don't get the heck out of here, I am going to die, and also I don't want to lose the person who I've basically been close friends with, and someone who I love, like I don't want to lose them again. So it's basically being with this person is the only way that can guarantee my happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it really. So you want to open up the
Sorry.
questions?
Yeah, we can open up for questions. I'm just in staff world and oh my word. They're having fun next door. So yeah, questions.
Wait, you had your hand up first.
Yeah.
So what do you think makes a good redemption arc?
I kind of feel like that's kind of why we did like what was in the back of my head, even if I didn't tell you guys. That's like what sort of we look at. It's hard. So like, I'll let you guys answer it as I continue to formulate my theory on this because it's like there's a lot that goes into it.
I like a good redemption arc. Obviously, I obviously need to ponder on this too. But I think
You're making me ponder on this too.
It's a good question. It's like it's one of those.
You're making us think. Thanks.
It's like, I already got enough flack for making them think about this. Now you're making them think more.
Yeah.
But then it's a very good question because it's like, okay, well, it's not necessarily time can't necessarily be a major determining factor because we've got most of these characters. It feels like get redeemed kind of quickly versus getting like it's also like what happened as a result of the redemption. Because it's like Katra was literally evil for 80% of the show. Zuko was evil for the first third, and it took him like pretty much everything until the end to be redeemed. So it's like some of it is just a lot of it is actually what sort of lessons you draw out of it, I'd say, because like every single one of them, they took the lessons of their redemption to heart and transformed because of it.
Yeah.
I take it you'd like to give your own answer for that one as well? Because I mean,
I was I just wanted to like frame your thinking, I guess. So I was thinking, like, do you think that if a villain is to be redeemed, do you think they need to have the same amount of suffering come to them as they come to other people?
I'm not so sure about that. I mean,
it's like none of the MLP villains really suffered in their redemption.
I mean, Discord didn't really suffer. I mean,
With Katra, like, you know, 'cause
she suffered, yeah.
like Katra, I don't know, because some people didn't like her redemption arc because she like kind of like killed her mom, and then she kind of like got away with it and Glimmer didn't care at all.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean,
There's something to be said for atoning for what you've done, but we can't hold that to people who are trying to make amends for what they like.
for what they've done, yeah.
It's like you can make amends, even if people like you can only do so much to satisfy people. There are some people who will never be happy with, like you've done this unforgivable act, which we can't hold people who have those. They can't hold that feeling against people who have them because it's like I can't tell you how to feel, but we can still say, look, this character has shown effort, very demonstrable effort as to what they're doing to become a better person.
Yeah, and obviously you can't undo past actions. What's done is done, and so what really matters in somebody's redemption is how what you do is how you behave going forward, and B, how you atone for what you did. So yeah, I mean it really all comes down to that, really. Yeah.
I was just gonna say.
Wait, hold on.
Did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I have my hand.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll
get to you
get to you next.
So I was just gonna say, like, so when we think about Zuko, like, obviously he's kind of like the gold standard for the redemption arc. And I rewatched Avatar, and something I really noticed is the story always went back and forth between Zuko, and there were even even when Zuko was still considered evil, there were like very Zuko-centered plot lines. Like there would be the A plot with the team Avatar, Team A, and then Zuko was his own B plot. And so we as the audience, we sort of saw his character develop behind the scene. And I think a very pivotal moment, I think sort of like a pivoting moment in this series that sort of showed that Zuko was sympathetic was when his uncle Iroh was talking to other Fire Nation soldiers about how he got his scar from his father, and then like the whole reason why he's really like on this journey to hunt down the Avatar is because he's trying to redeem himself in this very obviously toxic environment that he was grown up with. And like it was said in the show, you burned a child, you dueled a child, and like his own son, his own flesh and blood. So like I think this is also done in She-Ra, where there's sort of a B plot where we see what Catra's doing.
Yeah.
In it was like called the Shadow Zone or something, or like Horak Zone. I forgot what it was called, but but personally for me, unfortunately, we just didn't get to see a sympathetic. We did get to see a sympathetic side to Catra with how Shadow. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna try. I'm gonna cut myself right here. But would you say like sort of like I guess there's an importance to developing your villain characters? If you plan a redemption, you got to develop your villain characters almost as much as your main characters. If you do plan to redeem them eventually.
Absolutely, I think so. Yeah.
It's a great way to do it, but I don't want to say it's like you have to do it because again, look at our MLP redemptions. Both of them happened in the span of a single episode.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of pulls it back because it kind of makes their change seem drastic. Like it's the one downside of Starlight's redemption is it's literally done in the span of what, 5 minutes if that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas whereas with Zuko, you're literally seeing it from that start, from that very early point when Zuko gets branded for literally speaking out against not even directly his father, an officer in a war meeting as a voice of compassion. And it's like, okay, you spoke out against this officer, so you spoke out against the commander, the king of, or the lord of the Fire
Nation.
The Fire Nation.
And for that you must suffer. You must duel me to the death, and by refusing, you are branded and banished.
Yeah.
It's like Zuko is such a good one to look at. All right, got time for one more, and I think you had your hand up first.
I was going to say, I think what is basically essential for a redemption arc for an evil character is to have motivations that are something that everybody needs, but they go about trying to get them the wrong way. Like for Starlight Glimmer or Catra, they both kind of want acceptance, but they go about it the wrong way. But the other characters, like or Dad, or like the T-Rex, they just want power. So it's like you can't really, you kind of wouldn't want them.
It's kind of hard to redeem a character if all they want is power, because power can make somebody can make a character do very, very dangerous things, almost to the point where it's beyond the point of no return. So yeah.
All right, since we are basically out of time, I do want to thank you guys all for coming. Thank you for listening to us talk for the past hour. we would love to have you guys join us on Discord so we can get to know you guys more. The URL to get to our Discord is just discord.blepcon.com. You can find it on Twitter as well, @blepcon. Come to our events. We're fun. You get to see all kinds of the cartoons are voted on every week. Hangout is a little chaotic, but it's a great way to just meet some new people.
Yeah.
And game night's also a great way to meet people, have some fun.
Yep.
Hopefully you'll see us do this again at another con, maybe this similar, the same characters, maybe we'll switch stuff out. If it sounds like you guys liked it, and who knows what we'll see at another con. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you all guys for coming out. Enjoy the rest of Everfree
Yeah, enjoy the
Northwest.
rest of your con.